Hello everyone, this is Angelica, and today on the mini-series we're going to go into the conscious eating habit. So if you have digestive issues, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, any type of digestive or bowel movement issues, this is going to help heal you the most out of anything else in Ayurveda is understanding the conscious eating habits. So what I mean by the conscious eating habits, in Ayurveda, if we even look in the classical texts, over 90% of the guidelines they give is guidelines on how we eat our food, and only 10% is about what we're actually eating. So let me break that down even more. What we're eating equals specific foods, grains, greens, all of that stuff. And then how we're eating is what is the environment like when we're eating? Are we chewing our food thoroughly? Are we eating while we're on the go? Are we not eating specific amount of meals at the same times during every day? All of these can figure into how we digest. And it seems kind of like a no-brainer, like, oh yeah, we grew up learning these things as a kid, but of course our relationship to food is very much the relationship that we have to our soul. So of course this is going to be an ever-evolving relationship. So the conscious eating habits, what are they? We have 10 that we teach at Soulful Veda that have been really fruitful for our journey. And I'm going to start by delivering you 3 huge ones that are going to completely transform your digestive system and heal a lot of the imbalances that you'll be experiencing. Now, with these 3 conscious eating habits that I'm going to deliver, I recommend just taking on one so that you can completely embody it, make it second nature to you before taking on another habit. That is truly how we begin to build sustainable habits. And my other recommendation is to take my little tips based on the dosha. And if you don't know what your dosha is, your doshic imbalance, you can just watch one of the previous videos that I have on finding what your doshic imbalance is. Okay, the first conscious eating habit, which I think is one of the most important ones, is chewing your food thoroughly. I know, it seems like a no-brainer, something that we were taught as a kid, but something that sometimes we forget. So chewing your food thoroughly looks like chewing your food until it is an even, smooth consistency before swallowing. So for my pittas, I know you want to know the why, you want to know the science behind it, I'm the same way. So why we need to chew our food thoroughly to an even consistency? Well, our digestive process begins in the mouth, and that is because the salivary amylase helps to break down the food, absorb those amino acids, and get all the nutrients out of the food so that it can properly be absorbed when it goes down into our GI tract. So you're starting your healthy digestive habits just by the way that you eat. It's super important. Now for my kappas, it's really important that you have support when you're taking on a new habit. You don't want to feel like you're alone, and you want the encouragement of others. So I recommend getting an accountability partner, and maybe if you're a mother and you have kids, then getting your kids involved, making this a new habit that the whole family is doing, getting them excited for it, and that could be your accountability, because it is so important that we are in an environment that really nurtures our new habits. And for Vatas, you love creativity and making it exciting. So I would just make mealtime the most exciting part of your day. Whether that is setting up the table so it's really pretty, or going into a different nook of your house that maybe looks to a window outside, or if you have an outdoor balcony area that you can go out into and really make that space vibrant and exciting, and that is where you have your meal. And that way, when we change environments, it already changes our brain to think in a new way and to know how to apply that habit. So chewing your food thoroughly. And I recommend not taking on the burden of having to do this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's going to feel like a lot, even though it seems like it may not be. Pittas. Practice with just 1 meal a day. I recommend starting with breakfast. Okay, so our second conscious eating habit we're going to break down is waiting about 3 to 4 hours in between meals. So I know there is a lot of information out there, and especially for those who may be experiencing adrenal fatigue and you've been told that you have to eat every other hour, if that feels good in your body, for sure follow that. For majority of us, waiting at least 3 to 4 hours in between meals gives our digestive system a break so that we can fully digest that meal before moving on to the next. And really, I would say 3 to 5 hours, really just depending on how your digestive system is and when you really feel that hunger ping again. And like I said, practice this with just between 2 meals a day. So maybe you're just practicing this between breakfast and lunch, or you're just starting this between lunch and dinner. But what is this going to do to your bodies? This is going to give it a break so it can fully digest that meal before going on to the next. Because let's say we were still digesting the meal and then we start to put more food down. Well, that other food doesn't get digested. It just kind of sits there and builds up toxins. We call this ama in Ayurveda. And ama is what creates disease in the body. It can stick to the organs of the body, like the intestines, for example, or the liver. And that puts more burden on your body and it can't perform optimally. So it's super important. Wait a good amount of time so you fully digest the meal before moving on to the next. And when you do this, you also strengthen your Agni, your digestive fire, which is king in Ayurveda. We always talk about digestion because when we heal digestion, we heal all the other systems of the body. That's why diet and how we eat is so important. And so it's really important that you understand what real hunger feels like. Getting that sensation in your belly that you are hungry and ready for your next meal is important. And it's okay if you feel disconnected from this feeling. By practicing 3 to 4 hours in between meals, you are going to build your digestive fire again because it's going to have time to digest that meal, and you're going to become more in tune with that hunger in your belly so that you are truly eating when you are hungry. So that is my second conscious eating habit. And again, my tips for pittas, go into the science. I already kind of just lightly touched on it a little bit, but do your research if you need more proof for that. And for my vatas, make it fun and exciting. And kappas, get an accountability partner who can do it with you. And for my third conscious eating habit is eating in an environment that is optimal for you. You may be thinking, well, how do I know what my optimal environment is? And this is where I really want to empower you to strengthen your intuition and to get to know what your unique optimal environment is. And simple, just start to journal. When was the last time you felt like you digested your meal so well? What was that environment? And I know it can feel like that might have been really long time ago if you've been experiencing chronic conditions for a while, but then just start to visualize what would that ideal environment be. Was it a home cooked meal? Were you at a family person's house or a friend's house? Were you outside in nature? Did you have candles? Did you have light music playing? Were you just quiet? Were you eating alone? All these different elements can really constitute your optimal environment, and it's so unique to each person. So journal on that and then start to get to know and test it out in your body. What feels good? Try bringing a candle in. Try eating outside. Try eating alone. Try eating with a trusted friend and see what becomes your most optimal environment and play with it. Have fun with it. A lot of times this habit is taught in Ayurveda as eating in a peaceful and silent environment. And so when I first started to learn this, that's what I did. I just always ate alone, kind of in the dark and no distractions around me. And while some of those elements were fruitful for me, a lot of times it felt like punishment that I couldn't eat with my friends anymore and I had to just be absolutely nothing around me. And then I started to play with different elements and realize my optimal environment is actually eating outside, eating in nature, and a good balance of eating alone and being one with my food, but also balancing that with eating with trusted friends and around family members that felt really nourishing and loving. So there's no hard or fast rules here, and how we interpret this in Ayurveda and how we teach it in Soulful Veda is to really find your unique optimal environment, because everyone is going to be different, and that is the beauty behind it. So the reasoning behind eating in an optimal environment is that we take on energies all the time. So if we are eating in an environment that feels stressful, if we're eating at work and we don't give ourselves a break, we're eating while we're on the go, while we're trying to do our work, our food is not going to digest well, right? Because our body is trying to focus on too many things, and it's also trying to digest the stress that we're experiencing at work as well as digest our food, and it can't do both. Those are clashing energies in our body. Another reason is we are a product of our environment. So we really want to set ourselves up. If we have that optimal environment for our body to heal, then our body knows how to heal. So if you feel relaxed and comfortable in where you're eating, then that's how your digestion is going to heal as well. And another reason I like to bring into this is your sacred time. Just as we take our sacred time for meditation or yoga or going out in nature or spending time with family members, and we really want to be present during that time, the same thing lands with our food. When we're totally present and one with our food, it can heal us. It can serve as a great loving friend for our digestive system, in the same way that our environment, when it is set up for us, it can be super healing and nourishing for us. So for our pittas, that is the why. For our kappas, accountability partner, someone doing this with you will be amazing. And for vatas, get really creative, have fun with this, really try a lot of these different elements and make it as exciting as you can. Okay, those are my 3 conscious eating habits. I want you just to pick one, and again, trust your intuition. Which one is like, oh yeah, I need to do that one first. It's okay if you're like, I need to do all of them. Just start with one until it's fully embodied. Start with one meal and then gradually start to add it in for lunch and then dinner, and you'll start to see your digestive system completely transform. So I want to hear from all of you which conscious eating habit you're taking on, and we will see you next time. Next time, we are going to talk about different diets, what foods to eat for your dosha.